Alright, real quick, time for the first Path of Souls devlog, I guess. So this is Path of Souls. It's very rudimentary so far, but we have a game going on here. I'm doing this right now while I'm waiting for any sort of feedback on nights, which is probably not going to happen, which essentially means I'm going to be working on this for the time being until I get literally any feedback for nights, which isn't happening. You can put 2 and 2 together there as to what's going to happen to nights. It's in a state of being finished in the sense that it is public and there is a definitive stopping point within the game itself, which would be the end of stage 2, even though that's not the end of the story, that's the end of but whatever. This game. This is Path of Souls, whatever, top-down game, no shadows yet, whatever. So the way it works is, real quick, in the top left you have your health and the endurance, like Dark Souls basically. Your armor, there's nothing in here. Weapons, nothing in here. Whatever. As you can see, the armor is on the left when you open it up. Weapons is on the right, because on this big screen here, armor's on the left, the weapon's on the right. So this shows your current weapon here, and this shows your current armor. It's asymmetric. It's symmetrical, I guess, one on each side, because why not? Now if I go and pick up the sword here. Currently, there is no way to show any stats, but they would go right under the currently equipped weapon. And I now have the sword equipped. As you can see, it drains your endurance to use it. Your endurance for your basic form wearing no armor is 80, and it drains 30 per use, which means you can get in about 2, and if you wait a few seconds, you'll get in that third one immediately. If we go up and grab the other weapon, which is the wooden club, you use it, and it drains 60. You start with 80, which means wait a few seconds and you can use it twice, essentially. Well, more than a few seconds, because it takes, literally 75% of your endurance bar to do it. Now, if we go down here and grab this armor, this is the corpse armor, which, yeah, Rise reference, whatever. And you move slower while wearing it. And if you look, the health bar got longer, but it didn't fill up, because that's not how health works in this game, but whatever. The health bar got longer, and the endurance bar also got longer. So if I de-equip the friggin' corpse armor and then re-equip it, you can see the endurance bar has to fill up because it got longer. Even though it didn't change on sprite, the maximum endurance you have got longer. It's now 100, which means, using this obviously takes, you can use it more than once before you have to recharge. And the sword you can use 3 times in a row. I guess 4 because it's filling up as you're using it. So you get down to the end and it's already filled up enough to use it the 4th time. So I guess 4, even though at full, it would be 3, but whatever. So yeah, 3, 90, you would have 10 left over, but it fills up that last 20 you need to use the sword again. Before it gets to the last 20, so you can use it 4 times in a row. Anyway, this is the other armor, which is the filter armor. Only I know why it's called the filter armor, but whatever. And this one has more health than the corpse armor does, by about 10% more, which the corpse armor itself has 20% more than your standard health. Your standard health is 100, corpse armor is 120, this one's 130 if I'm not mistaken. If I go ahead and switch to the corpse armor, you can see more is filled up here because there's less of a dissonance between the total health you start off with, which is 100, and your health bar max, which would be 120 with corpse armor. And there's a bigger gap here because, you have more. I actually don't think it's that. I actually don't think it's. This one has 120, I think, and the corpse armor is 110. Actually, I got the numbers wrong. But this armor has less endurance than base U does. This armor has exactly 60 max endurance. So if we go into weapons and equip the club, it drains your bar in one go. So yeah, basically what this game is top-down Dark Souls, but you can't roll. And also there's no wind-up for your attacks. The energy bar filling up is the wind-up, essentially. So if you have it charged, you can just go, And enemies will not be staggered by, knockback may or may not be a thing, we'll see, but enemies will not be staggered by the one-handed weapons, which is the sword, and a two-handed weapon. As you can see, the animation for swinging it's slightly different, slightly. The sword animation, if you look, he's only swinging it with one hand, but the other hand is like right here on his side. So you can barely see it, but if I switch to corpse armor, you can see it better because it's darker there on the corpse armor. But yeah, he's swinging it with one hand here, but if I go ahead and switch to the club, you can see he's swinging it with both hands because there's no like black spot there, and the other hand is on the club. You can hardly see it, but whatever. Anyway, the club would stagger enemies, of course, but you know, look at how much energy it takes to use. And the corpse armor is significantly slower than going with the filter armor. And you can swap on the fly. This pauses the game, by the way, so enemies will not be able to attack you. So yeah, this is essentially top-down Dark Souls, but significantly worse. And I'm quite happy with the results so far. So currently, there's no way to go back to like this screen once you go into armor or weapons. You just have to exit out and then go back in. Yes, there will be a button to change that. And yes, underneath the armor here, there will be a thing showing the stats of the armor. There will be a thing showing the stats of the weapon. Yeah,